The history of Adam. Discover the essence of Adam, from his origins in Eden to his enduring impact on humanity. A journey from creation to redemption, exploring love, temptation, and the legacy that connects our common history. Delve into the life of the first man and how his legacy continues to live within us. Chapter 1: The Breath of Life. In the beginning, there was darkness and void until a divine entity, in an act of infinite creativity and love, decided to shape the dust of the earth. Thus, Adam was born, molded with precision and care that reflected the grandeur of his Creator. But he still lay inert, a perfect figure awaiting the spark that would grant him life. It was then that the Creator leaned down, whispering into the ear of the clay figure, and blew a mystical breath. This breath, charged with life and power, traveled through every fiber of Adam, infusing him with a divine spark. His lungs filled for the first time, his eyes opened to daylight, and the miracle of consciousness was granted to him. He rose, astonished, looking around with insatiable curiosity. The Garden of Eden stretched before him, a tapestry of greenery and color that defied imagination. Adam, intoxicated by the beauty of his home, began to explore. Each plant, each creature, each sound and aroma was a discovery that filled his heart with joy. He marveled at the complexity and simplicity of the nature surrounding him, feeling part of it and yet its guardian. In his early days, Adam learned to walk under the giant trees that pierced the sky, to swim in the crystalline rivers that meandered through the garden, and to converse with the creatures he encountered, each surprising in its uniqueness and perfection. He felt overwhelmed by the magnitude of his existence, aware of the deep bond that tied him to every particle of this paradise. Night came, and with it, a blanket of stars covered the sky, offering Adam a new spectacle. He lay on the cool ground, looking up, reflecting on his place in this vast universe. He realized that, though alone, he was part of something much greater, a divine masterpiece imbued with the breath of life. This initial awareness of his existence and purpose filled Adam with a deep sense of peace and gratitude towards the Creator who had given him so much. Chapter 2: The Garden of Eden. Adam awoke each day with the sunrise, bathed in the golden light that filtered through the tall treetops. The Garden of Eden was his home, a place of unmatched beauty and harmony where every day was a new adventure and every night, a peaceful dream under the stars. He lived in constant wonder, learning the secrets of the creation that surrounded him, each plant, each creature, an open book for his insatiable curiosity. Over time, the Creator entrusted him with the task of naming all the animals, a challenge Adam accepted with enthusiasm. He dedicated himself to this task with diligence and care, observing the unique characteristics of each being, from the largest mammals to the smallest insects, bestowing upon them names that reflected their essence. This labor taught him not only about the diversity of life but also about the interconnectedness of all living beings within the garden. As days passed, Adam became familiar with every corner of his earthly paradise. He discovered hidden streams of crystalline waters, fields filled with flowers of 1,000 colors, and lush forests that seemed to hold ancient secrets. On his walks, he often stopped to contemplate the tree of knowledge, whose fruits, forbidden by the Creator, hung tempting among the branches. Though curious, Adam respected the only rule that had been imposed upon him, conscious of the delicate balance that maintained peace in Eden. Life in the garden was full, but Adam sometimes felt a loneliness he couldn't explain. There was a sense of incompleteness, a void that neither the beauty of Eden nor the company of the animals could fill. He wondered if there was something more, something he had yet to discover in this vast and wonderful world. However, each evening, as the sun set painting the sky red and orange, Adam felt deeply grateful for the life that had been granted to him. He walked through the garden, breathing in the freshness of the air, listening to the whisper of the wind among the leaves, and knew that, despite his budding loneliness, he was blessed. The peace of Eden enveloped him, offering comfort and promising new wonders with each dawn. Chapter 3: The Companion. Adam's feeling that loneliness, despite being surrounded by the beauty of Eden, did not go unnoticed by the Creator. Observing from above, he decided it was time to grant Adam an even greater gift: a companion, someone to share his life, his discoveries, and his days in the garden. One night, while Adam slept deeply under the starry mantle, the Creator acted. He took one of his ribs and, with divine care and precision, molded from it Eve, a perfect companion for Adam, equal in essence but unique in being. Upon waking, Adam found Eve by his side, and his heart was filled with instant joy and love. For the first time, he was not alone. Eve's first days in Eden were full of discoveries, guided by Adam, who delighted in showing her every wonder he himself had explored. Together, they learned about the plants, the animals, and the rhythms of the nature that surrounded them. As time passed, their love and bond deepened, finding in each other a source of joy and companionship. Eve, with her curiosity and ingenuity, brought new perspectives to life in the garden. Together, they devised ways to better care for their home, planting new gardens and creating spaces of harmony and beauty. Eve's presence brought a new balance to Adam's life, filling the void he had felt and multiplying the joys of each day. However, it wasn't all work and learning. There were also moments of pure happiness and leisure, where they played and laughed, enjoying each other's company in a paradise that now felt more complete. Adam and Eve shared dreams and hopes, talking about the future and everything they wanted to discover and create together. Eve's creation not only answered Adam's need for companionship but also taught both of them about the value of love, equality, and mutual respect. In Eve, Adam found not just a companion but also an equal, someone with whom to share his existence and with whom to grow together in spirit and truth. Life in Eden, already full of wonders, became even richer and more meaningful with their union, promising infinite possibilities for their shared future. Chapter 4: The Temptation. The harmony of Eden was interrupted one day when Eve, walking alone through the garden, encountered the serpent. It was a creature unlike any she had seen, with smooth words and a cunning intelligence. The serpent, skillfully, wove a conversation with Eve, asking her about the garden, the fruits, and, finally, about the tree of knowledge. Subtly, it sowed in Eve doubt and curiosity about the only fruit that was forbidden to them. Eve, driven by curiosity and the serpent's persuasion, approached the tree. She observed the fruits, shiny and seemingly harmless, and her desire to know more grew. When she shared her doubts with Adam, he too was caught in the moral dilemma presented by the forbidden fruit. Together, they debated the Creator's words against their thirst for knowledge, facing a choice that would forever change their destiny. Finally, the temptation became too strong. In a moment of weakness and desire, both decided to taste the fruit, convinced that the knowledge they would gain would justify their act of disobedience. Doing so, a wave of consciousness hit them, a deep understanding of good and evil, of truth and lie, of love and pain. The world they knew, until then seen through pure innocence, was revealed in all its complexity. The immediate consequence of their action was an overwhelming feeling of shame and fear. For the first time, Adam and Eve saw themselves and the world around them under a different light, a light that exposed their vulnerabilities and flaws. Nakedness, previously a natural and meaningless state, became a cause for shame, leading them to cover themselves with leaves. The relationship between Adam and Eve, and their connection with the Creator, was deeply affected. The trust and innocence that had marked their days in Eden were lost, replaced by a sharp awareness of their own mortality and fallibility. Though they still had each other, the purity of their existence had been tainted by their choice, introducing suffering and doubt into their hearts. This act of disobedience marked the end of an era of innocence and the beginning of a journey towards knowledge and understanding, but at a cost neither Adam nor Eve could have imagined. The temptation and their surrender to it opened a door that could never be closed, changing their destiny and that of all humanity forever. Chapter 5: The Fall. The consequences of Adam and Eve's act of disobedience were not long in manifesting. The Creator, upon learning of their transgression, was deeply saddened by the choice they had made. The harmony of Eden, which had been their perfect and safe home, was broken, and with it, the direct and unfiltered relationship Adam and Eve had with the Creator. The shame and fear they felt after eating the fruit intensified when they faced the consequences of their action. They were expelled from Eden, a place they could no longer call home, condemned to a life of toil and suffering outside of paradise. The land, which before offered its fruits freely, now required their effort and sweat to produce. This new reality imposed itself harshly. Adam and Eve, who had never known pain or fatigue, found themselves facing a hostile world, full of unknown challenges and dangers. The loss of innocence manifested not only in their knowledge of good and evil but also in the harsh reality of their material existence. Life became a constant struggle for survival, marked by the daily effort to cultivate the land and protect themselves from the elements. The deepest pain, however, was the change in their relationship with the Creator. The direct and loving communication they once enjoyed was replaced by a distance that weighed heavily on their hearts. Though they knew the Creator had not completely abandoned them, the intimacy of their relationship had been lost, leaving them longing for the connection they once took for granted. Adam and Eve also experienced changes in their relationship. The harmony that once defined their union was affected by guilt and blame. Though they loved and supported each other in their new life, the ease and innocence of their love in Eden had been transformed. Now, their love required work, forgiveness, and understanding, facing together the consequences of their choice. The expulsion from Eden marked the beginning of an era of growth and learning, but also of suffering and challenge. Adam and Eve, despite everything, remained united, facing together the adversities of a world that was no longer kind to them. In their exile, they found strength in their love and in the hope of redemption, carrying with them the memory of the lost paradise as an echo of what once was and what might someday be regained. Chapter 6: The Exile. Life outside Eden presented Adam and Eve with challenges never before imagined. The land, hostile and wild, demanded of them a strength and resilience unknown. They learned to cultivate the soil, to face the inclemencies of the weather, and to protect themselves from creatures that now saw in them not friends, but threats. Every day was a struggle for survival, a test of their will to live and thrive in a world that no longer offered its gifts freely. Despite the adversities, Adam and Eve found in their exile an opportunity to grow and strengthen their relationship. The need to depend on each other in this hostile environment taught them the value of unity and cooperation. Together, they built a home, though humble in comparison to their lost paradise, filled with love and hope. The first years were especially hard. The land seemed to resist their efforts, and many times they went to bed hungry, wondering if they would be able to overcome the trials imposed by their fate. However, with every small victory, with every successful harvest or every night they spent safe, their hope and determination grew. This period of exile also allowed them to rediscover themselves and each other in ways that Eden never demanded. Adam, who once named all creatures and walked as the undisputed master of the garden, now saw himself humbled by necessity, learning the value of work and perseverance. Eve, whose arrival had been the answer to Adam's loneliness, now showed herself as his equal in strength and wisdom, indispensable in their shared struggle for survival. Adversity strengthened their bond, teaching them that true love is forged and tested in the fire of difficulties. Together, they faced each new challenge with renewed determination, finding in their love an inexhaustible source of strength. As the years passed, Adam and Eve managed to establish a balance with their environment. The land, once so reluctant to welcome them, began to offer its fruits, allowing them not just to survive but to begin to thrive. They built a family, filling their home with the sound of laughter and the bustle of life. Although the memory of Eden never completely faded, they found a new happiness in their life together, forged in adversity and strengthened by love and hope. Chapter 7: The Descendants. Over time, Adam and Eve saw their family grow. The joy of welcoming each new child was mixed with the challenge of raising them in a world full of dangers and difficulties. Each child brought with them a promise of renewal and a reminder of their responsibility not just as parents but as the first guardians of humanity. Raising Cain, Abel, and their other children taught them about the complexity of human relationships and the deep love they can harbor. They watched with pride and concern as each developed their own personality and chose their path. Cain, the farmer, dedicated and strong, but sometimes overcome by envy and pride. Abel, the shepherd, gentle and kind, with a heart full of faith and goodness. Tragedy struck when the rivalry between Cain and Abel culminated in an act of violence that would mark the family forever. Abel's death at the hands of his brother was a painful reminder of the fragility of peace and the ease with which evil can infiltrate even the closest hearts. Adam and Eve faced the loss with unimaginable pain, wondering what could have been done differently, how the love they had given their children could have twisted into such tragedy. This event marked a turning point in Adam and Eve's lives, teaching them about the need to guide and educate their children not just in the tasks of daily life but also in the moral and spiritual values they hoped to see reflected in them. They realized that each human being carries within them the capacity for both good and evil, and that part of their legacy would be the constant struggle between these two poles. Despite the pain and tragedy, Adam and Eve continued forward, raising their children with love and dedication, hoping to prepare them better for the world they would face. They celebrated each achievement and mourned each failure, always together, always seeking in their love and faith the strength to keep going. The descendants of Adam and Eve grew, filling the world with a new generation that would carry both the promise of their creation and the marks of their fall. Through their children, Adam and Eve saw reflected their own struggles and triumphs, understanding that their legacy would be both their greatest gift and their biggest challenge. The story of their family, marked by love, conflict, and hope, would be the story of humanity itself, an eternal cycle of growth, fall, and redemption. Chapter 8: The Later Years. As the years turned into decades and the decades into centuries, Adam saw his descendants multiply and spread across the land. With each generation, the memory of Eden became more distant, transforming into legend, but the essence of that lost paradise remained in the heart of his teachings and in the hope of a redeemed future. Adam, with the weight of the years and the wisdom they bring, became a counselor to his growing family. He shared with them the lessons learned from his life, the value of hard work, the importance of love and family unity, and the necessity to live with integrity and respect for creation. He saw in his children and grandchildren both the promise of what they could become and the challenges they would face, knowing that each generation would have to struggle with its own temptations and learn from its own mistakes. The challenges that Adam and his family faced were not minor. The land, though generous, was also relentless, and each new invention or discovery brought with it both blessings and new moral dilemmas. Adam watched, often with concern, as his descendants navigated these turbulent waters, always hoping they would remember the lessons of the past and choose the path of good. Throughout his life, Adam witnessed the incredible adaptability and creativity of the human being. He saw how his children learned to master the land, to build cities, and to create art and music that reflected the beauty and complexity of their human experience. Each new achievement was a reminder of how far they had come from those early days in Eden and how much potential still lay unexplored. However, he was also aware of the dangers that accompanied this progress. Disputes over land and resources, conflicts between brothers and nations, and the constant struggle between the desire for power and the pursuit of peace were reminders of the fall and the constant need to seek redemption and harmony. In his final years, Adam often reflected on his journey, from the dust of Eden to the patriarch of a constantly evolving humanity. Despite the mistakes and tragedies, he also saw the beauty and hope in the human capacity to love, to create, and to dream of a better world. His life, marked by loss and learning, was also a story of unbreakable love and faith in the future. Chapter 9: The Patriarch. Adam, in the twilight of his life, was revered as the patriarch of a young and vibrant humanity. His long existence had granted him a unique perspective, one that encompassed both the intimacy of the lost paradise and the harshness of life in a fallen world. Over the years, his role had evolved from being the first man to becoming a symbol of wisdom and guidance for his extensive descendants. In this stage, Adam dedicated himself to imparting advice, sharing the stories of his early days, the lessons learned through trials and errors, and the values he had come to hold above all. He strove to teach his children and grandchildren about the importance of love, family, and responsibility towards others and towards creation. Through his words, he sought to instill in them a deep understanding of life, with its joys and sorrows, its triumphs and challenges. Despite the reverence his descendants held for him, Adam carried with him the weight of his past mistakes, reflecting on the decisions made in Eden and their consequences throughout the centuries. These reflections often filled him with a sweet melancholy, mixed with the hope that his legacy would serve as a guide towards a better future for humanity. The love and respect his children had for him were evident, and in their eyes, Adam saw the reflection of all the loved ones he had known and lost throughout his life. Though the pain of these memories never fully disappeared, it was mitigated by the gratitude of having been part of such a vast and rich story, and by the faith that his influence would endure in future generations. In his moments of solitude, Adam reflected on the nature of the human being, on its capacity for love and cruelty, creation and destruction. Despite the failures and falls, he maintained an unbreakable hope in humanity's potential to overcome its challenges and find the path to redemption. His life was a testimony to the complexity of the human experience, filled with moments of deep joy and painful regret, but also of growth and learning. Adam spent his last days surrounded by his family, sharing with them not just the stories of his past but also his hopes and dreams for the future. Although aware that his time in this world was coming to an end, he felt at peace, knowing he had left a legacy of love, wisdom, and hope that would continue to influence future generations. Chapter 10: The Legacy of the Earth. The story of Adam does not end with his death but continues through the legacy he left behind, the land he had cultivated, the teachings he had shared, and the descendants who continued to multiply and fill the world with the promise of a new beginning. His life, marked by creation, fall, and redemption, became the cornerstone of the human experience, a reflection of the struggles and triumphs each generation would face. The land, worked by the hands of Adam and his descendants, became a symbol of the enduring connection between humanity and the natural world. Through the cultivation of the land, the building of homes and communities, and the exploration of the mysteries of the universe, his children and grandchildren carried forward the spirit of their ancestor, facing new challenges with the same determination and hope that Adam had shown throughout his life. Adam's teachings, based on his unique experience as the first man and as a witness to the immense beauty and complexity of the world, were passed down from generation to generation. Through these stories, humanity learned about the values of responsibility, love, and respect for creation, as well as the importance of seeking wisdom and understanding amidst life's trials. The descendants of Adam, throughout the centuries, continued to carry with them the story of their origin, a narrative of hope and warning, of fall and redemption. Each son, each daughter, each generation faced its own trials and temptations but also had the opportunity to learn from the mistakes of the past and to build a better future. Through the ages, Adam's influence on humanity has manifested in the continual pursuit of knowledge, in the capacity to love and create, and in the eternal desire to surpass the limits of the possible. His legacy is reflected in the beauty of the natural world, in the complex societies we have built, and in our inexhaustible curiosity to understand more about ourselves and the universe that surrounds us. Though Adam no longer walks among us, his spirit endures in every human effort to cultivate the land, in every act of kindness and compassion, and in every step we take towards a brighter and more promising future. The story of Adam is the story of all of us, a reminder of where we come from and what we can become if we remember the lessons of our past and work together towards a shared future.